Hi, I'm Gideon and welcome to the Watchful Magpie channel where we get all excited about watches and other shiny gadgets. Today is my first review of 2025 and I'm going to be looking at a diver's watch from Officine Tecniche. I probably murdered that, it's Italian, but it's a lovely, in this case, purple watch. There we go, have a look. And I'm going to tell you why it's kind of special because nobody else seems to be reviewing it at the moment, which is a bit of a shame. Let's have a look. So I'm going to spend a little bit more time looking at the watch and talking through some of the elements of it because there's quite a lot of detail here, as you'll see and as we talk about. But first, let's go through the specs. So in terms of pricing, which is always important, it's including taxes in Europe, it's 750 euros, which is round about $631 before tax, or in euros without tax, it's about 615 euros. So around about 631 US dollars before tax. So it's not the cheapest, but it's fairly priced for sure. Inside is powered by a Miyota 9039 Premium movement, one of the thin movements. It doesn't have a date. And its power reserve is 42 hours, which is pretty good, really, for many things. In terms of dimensions, as I'll talk about rather than show, it's a 40mm watch. It's 13.6 mils thick and 47.5 lug to lug. So it actually wears a lot smaller than you'd think. It's interesting. And had me fooled when I had to actually go back and look at the measurements, or the dimensions, just to understand that. The glass is sapphire and also has a sapphire bezel insert, which I think is more of a novelty these days. It's coming to be. Some watches have them, some watches absolutely do not, but it's a pleasure to see it. As we can see, it's quite shiny here. There's a good anti-reflective coating on it as well, which is always a pleasure. The lume, as I'll show you a little later on, is very, very good indeed, and it's using green Super Luminova C1, sort of A-grade stuff. And as you can see, it comes with a matching rubber strap, or alternatively, you've got two alternatives really. One is the beautiful metal strap that I'll put on the screen, so you can see it on a metal strap. And also there is an option to get an end link so that it can accept any 20mm strap at all. So just a little bit of thought there, which is helpful, so that although it looks like an integrated watch bracelet, it can be, or it can actually have an alternative bracelet if you really want. Anyway, the colors look really well to me, and I think that's cool. And it has 2 years warranty. And one of the other things they point out, which is kind of fun, is that the box is actually rubberized. Not terribly sure what they mean by that. Maybe it's a translation thing, but it's certainly a decent enough box. And I may show you that in a little while. I might not. So let's move on and take a look at the detail here, because there's lots of it. Now, I'm going to show you other things as well as we go along. This is Officine, as I said, and maybe I'm saying it, Officine Tecniche. It's an Italian independent brand. It's been around since 2019. And one of the things they say is, our company embodies the Swiss excellence and Italian aesthetics, creating an extraordinary watch experience. Every watch is rigorously Swiss made, represents the pinnacle of Swiss precision and craftsmanship, ensuring unbeatable quality. Now, I can certainly say the quality here is something else. It's definitely on the level of a much, much more expensive watch. And as you can see, the colors are also very different. There's quite a range of different colors here, and there's also a premium version with an LPG. No, it's not. There's also a premium version with a different premium movement in it, Gerard Perregaux movement in it, which is about 1100 euros, so a bit more expensive. I didn't think it was particularly worth it, so I got this one. So let me move this bit out of the way for a second. and talk more about it. So if we take it to the side, we can see that it has that coinage bezel, and here's where you can see the thickness and the domed sapphire crystal. We can also see, which is kind of interesting, it has screw lugs. So they're drilled, but they're screw lugs for easily changing bracelet, which is helpful. The back I find really interesting. There's a huge amount of detail on here I love. There's those little stars in between the compass markings, and as you can see as we rotate it around it, even the back is cleverly catching the light. So a huge amount of painstaking detail on the screw down back has been put in there. Very, very clean design indeed. And it was just a pleasure. I do like case backs when people put them together nicely. The crown on the other side is a signed crown. And then we kind of, if we can just put it on edge there for a second, you can see the depth. The cardinal markers of 12, 3, 6, 9 are applied. And the as is the logo, which is kind of funky too. Reminds me of another watch, the Heron watches. But I like it a lot. It's just lots of thought in there. The other thing, the hands, quite interesting. As you can see, there's a lot of detail there. It's the second hand having like a 3-bar loomed block on it. The hour hand being very short indeed, but obviously it has to meet the cardinal points there, which have a lot of detail going on, both the number and the stripes as well. And big thick, well, it's fairly big hour hand, which is also loomed, but very, very obvious. And obviously the minutes matter a lot when you're diving, so that hour hand, yeah, it kind of matters a lot. So when I picked this up, when I actually got it, I did think, this reminds me of something, but what is it? Well, here's what it reminds me of a little bit. It's a Doxa. So here's a Doxa Sub 300, and as you can see, it also has the sort of the striped markers, but they're the other way around. They're 90 degrees different. Second hand also has a block on it. Small hour hand, large minute hand, different colors. But you know, it's there's a few takes there that you can see that's been perhaps notionally borrowed or influenced the design of this very nice Aquas, which is 300 meters waterproof as well, so you can dive properly in it. Excuse the reflections from my light there. So what can we see here? So very straightforward cardinals. We have the numerals on the hour markers as well as the stripes or the blocks, and a minute track going there as well, but no date. So lots going on the dial. One of the other things that I think is very interesting, let's see if I can show it to any possibility there, is the texture on the dial as well. So lots going on in this dial, all of which I like. It's not, it sort of struck me as being possibly too busy, but actually, do you know what? I quite like the busyness. It works really well. And what I'm now going to do is I'm going to show you a loom shot of this watch, so you can see the difference between the kind of daytime, nighttime thing, but it's quite a difference. So here's the loom shot. And here's the normal shot here. So very good loom indeed. I have seen it last way over 40 minutes, and that's no exaggeration. So very pleased indeed. Very tasty watch. And as I say, bags of detail of the dial, the texture, just the hands, the markers, the applied cardinal markers and the applied logo. Everything's just done, and you can see where the execution of this has been painstakingly accurate. The quality is fantastic. It's 316L steel, as you'd kind of come across in most. The twist on it, to me, is also the symmetry here. There's a lot of symmetry between the circles and the lines. It just hangs together beautifully, even in the crown guards there. It's just, the whole thing just hangs together beautifully as a watch. So to sum up, why I like this watch is, well, there's a lot of things really. Starting with the quality, I think it's an incredibly well-made watch. It's beautifully finished. I think the design has really been thought through, which is cool. I think it kind of echoes a few other watches which I've talked about in the video, but overall it's a really pleasant watch to look at and to wear. It's very comfortable. What else could I tell you? I think the detail shows everywhere, and that makes a big difference. It's one of those watches I've been very excited about and have been in pain waiting for it to arrive, but now it's here. In the meantime, I was kind of thinking, oh, did I choose the right colour? Purple's a bit of a tricky colour, isn't it? But actually, I really like this one in real life. It's not as gaudy as it may seem in some of the photographs on the website. The great photographs, it's just, it changes with the light that plays upon the dial, which is kind of interesting. Critique, maybe the hour hand is a little bit small, maybe the dial is a little bit busy, but it just adds to the character of the watch overall. Make your own mind up about it, but I think it's a great watch. I'm very, very pleased with it, and a lovely addition to my collection. So I hope you found that useful and interesting. If you did, please think about subscribing or at least liking the channel. Really helps get the numbers up in terms of people being able to see the videos. Not for a profit channel, and I just do it because I love doing it. Lots more coming up in the coming months. Talk about some new stuff I've discovered, because it's always good to share what you find. Also reviewing some of the new watches that have come into my possession. Yeah. In other words, I bought them, but I haven't told the wife. All right, take care until the next time. I'll see you around. Bye.